Arch Advocate podcast for Friday the 15th. Got a lot to get to. The Everybody Gets a Trophy generation has kicked into full effects. Andrea Ocasio-Cortez gets a big victory by keeping Amazon out of her district, and the 25,000 plus jobs that would have brought to her little microeconomy there. And yet, to those people, it's a big win. This is amazing. We've got some voting on the Green New Deal to talk about, which is a brilliant strategy, and the attempted coup d'etat that happened in these United States of America. Now listen, before we get to that, I'm going to read your devotional, and first a message from a listener. And this is from Udelis, if you go onto Reddit, it's U, and I think that stands for user, and it's DELELLES. So go onto that person's page, give them an upvote, and they wrote, I don't know if they is a man or a woman, but they wrote, "You need to get a better microphone for that great radio voice you have. Whatever you're using now isn't doing it justice." Yes, and thank you. I appreciate constructive criticism. Yes, I do need a microphone. I need a microphone. I need soundproofing on my walls, and a number of other things, and those things cost money, which I don't have, which leads me to my next segment, Send Me Some Money by Pete Dobson, Arch Advocate Podcast. You can go on to paypal.me/archadvocate. Please support the show. As the money comes in, the show gets better. The sound will be better. So now let me read to you your daily devotional, and this one's a doozy. Come to me with all of your weakness, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Rest in the comfort of my presence, remembering that nothing is impossible with me. Pry your mind away from your problems so that you can focus your attention on me. Recall that I am able to do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine. Instead of trying to direct me to do this or that, seek to attune yourself to what I am already doing. When anxiety attempts to wedge its way into your thoughts, remind yourself that I am your shepherd. The bottom line is that I am taking care of you. Therefore, you needn't be afraid of anything. Rather than trying to maintain control over your life, abandon yourself to my will. Though this may feel frightening, even dangerous, the safest place to be is in my will. Now listen, this is really a focal point of this show, is not so much calling attention to the news, but trying to help you to keep from going crazy by watching it. There was an attempted coup d'etat in the United States. Do you guys remember, did you see the submarine movie with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington? Like two of the greatest living actors right now, right? And two of the greatest actors of all time. Gene Hackman is retired, and he's been semi-retired for a long time. He very rarely comes out to do a movie, right? He did the one with Keanu Reeves, and he did the one with Denzel Washington, the submarine movie. And you remember at the end, there was a point that was made in that show at the very end where they were both sort of a closed door court martial, and the admiral was like, "Dude, you guys had a mutiny on an American boat. That is unacceptable." Mutiny, like you people think of that term mutiny and they think, oh yeah, that's just when, a ship's crew turns on their captain. It's like, no, it's a big deal. Because when a ship is on the water, it's its own country. You know what I mean? It's that big of a deal. And when you have nuclear submarines that have enough warheads on them than entire nations have, you know what I mean? You can't be having mutinies. And the same thing goes for the actual nation of the United States. Like when you have an attempted mutiny, that's what a coup d'etat is. That's what happened in the United States. Andrew McCabe said so. Right? The FBI guy. If you look at that, you can go crazy by staring at that. Like, holy cow, this is how corrupt our system has gotten. This is how stupid people have gotten. That you tried to overthrow a sitting U.S. president because he didn't toe the line. He wasn't one of you. You know, that's crazy. Now, the thing is that yes, evil was at work for a very long time. Hold on one second. Listen, the thing that you need to keep in mind is that God is also at work. These things that are being exposed, these things that are being revealed, right? Because that's what the word apocalypse means. It means the revealing. And we are going through an apocalyptic season right now where we are seeing what's truly going on. A communist ascended to the highest seat of the CIA. That's a big effing problem. I told you I wouldn't let you forget. There was a terrorist training camp on U.S. soil. And a baby's dead body was found on that camp. And while those people were in jail, somebody went out and bulldozed all the evidence. That happened. It's not a conspiracy theory. All those things I just said, that all happened. Oh, and the FBI knew about their presence. And the FBI knows about all of the other terrorist training camps that are going on in the United States by foreigners. They're aware of that. That's happening right now. That is not a conspiracy theory. That's what the FBI has reported. Crazy times, right? But in that is, you can see God's working, is that it's being revealed. You're being shown. These are the people who have been running your country. This whole Russian collusion thing, it's clear that it was Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration that was colluding with the Russians and gearing up to go to war with Russia. Rush Limbaugh made this point. He was talking about the fact that Hillary Clinton had said that she was going to let Crimea into NATO, which would have put them at odds with Russia. And that's why Russia went in and invaded. That and the fact that President Obama put nuclear bombs in Romania. You want to talk about Russian collusion and then selling uranium to Russia? It's all bizarre. This whole thing is bizarre, and it's been a big cover-up to protect Obama and Hillary Clinton. But instead of going crazy over these facts, you have to look at it and thank God. Be grateful. Thank God that the truth always wins. Good always wins. Now we know. And this is far from over, people. But don't lose sight of the fact, yes, it can be infuriating and maddening. You can go crazy by looking at the fact that a coup d'etat was attempted in the United States. But instead of looking at that, look at the fact that it was thwarted by truth. By truth. And there was one who said, I am the truth. That's him at work. A lot of other things, man. This moving on to more lighter subjects. Look, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So Jeff Bezos wants to move Amazon. He wants to move the headquarters into the Bronx. Or is it Brooklyn? Is it the Bronx? I think I said Brooklyn yesterday. I meant to say the Bronx. They want to move the Amazon headquarters into the Bronx, right? Now, that would bring a lot of jobs, Amazon jobs, and then all of the sort of ancillary jobs. So like if you put Amazon.com, if you put your headquarters in a neighborhood, well then other people are going to be opening up Subway sandwiches and 7-Elevens and dry cleaners and whatever around it, so that they can make money off of those employees, right? So it's not just the jobs that Amazon would create, it's all the other stuff as well. 25,000 plus jobs, 25,000 people working for the richest man in the world, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blocks that from happening and claims the victory over that. This is the problem with the everybody gets a trophy generation. She's claiming that as a victory. Like, lady, that's 25,000 of your people who vote for you. that aren't going to be working at Amazon, right? So everybody that's struggling for work in your neighborhood is looking at you right now going, what the hell, lady, right? Every person who's struggling that has the entrepreneurial spirit and was thinking like, oh, good, Amazon's going to come in here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go down to the bank and I'm going to take out a loan to open up a Subway franchise or open up a dry cleaner or whatever, or go get my license for valet parking or whatever it is, right? Well, all that's now dashed. That's all gone. And she's celebrating. This is how backwards these people are. And to further that point, like, so you got to think about this, right? You remember that the after school special? I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. Remember that? Like, that's explaining how things get, passed into law. Somebody writes up a bill, right? And then it goes through a series of different lawyers have to read over it, make sure that the language is exact, and then it gets passed around the internal party, and then everybody says, yeah, I think this has a chance on the House floor, and then the House votes on it, and if they get approved, then it goes to the Senate, and then the Senate either approves it or denies it. But if it gets approved from there, then it goes to the desk of the executive, the President of the United States. And the President, if it's been voted yes by the House and the Senate, then the President is expected to pass it. But the President has a very rarely used power called veto power. He can say no. It's very rare that happens, but it certainly does, right? That's how it works. That's the norm. That's how our system is set up to work. Now, you've heard these leftists celebrating the Green New Deal, right? And for those of you who don't know, that's a callback from the New Deal. Who was that? Was that Roosevelt? Yeah, it was Roosevelt. Or was it Eisenhower? No, it was Roosevelt. The New Deal was basically a whole bunch of money going into building new highways and putting a whole bunch of people to work. And there were some other things too, but it was the reason why we have Interstate 10, Interstate 8, Interstate 5, Interstate 15, like the huge interstates that we have that are just long and straight and wide. That's a result of the New Deal, right? So this is the Green New Deal. Oh, like we're going to restore the Democrat Party back to prominence with this Green New Deal. And the left just clapped and applauded and cheered. Yay, the Green New Deal. Let's put this into motion. Let's draft it up. Right? Let's write this thing up. Get it on the House floor. Let everybody vote on it. And if it can pass, it can go to the Senate, and then the Senate can vote on it. And if that passes, it can go to the office of the president, where it will be expected to be voted yes on. So here comes the Green New Deal, and Mitch McConnell comes out, right? Old cocaine Mitch, old turtle man himself. And beautifully, he says, okay, great. Let's do what we always do when somebody has a great new idea. Let's vote on it. Let's get it to the floor. Go ahead, let's vote on it. Bring it to the floor and let's vote on it. And let's see how many Democrats vote yes on this. Because we want to know who you are. You want to let crazy, bat guano lady who speaks nonsense constantly. She's a train wreck. A hilarious one. I love her. Again, I'm really warming up to the idea that she's a Republican plant. Like, she's there to destroy the Democrat Party. I love her. I never want her to go away. She just keeps bringing on the hits, man. This Green New Deal, talking about cow farts and giving money to people who are unwilling to work. It's like, oh, please. More of this, please. Yes, thank you, Andrea. Sorry, not Alexandria. Thank you, Alexandria. Yes. More, please. More pie. Oh, God, name that movie. Oh. Free guest spot on the Arch Advocate podcast if you could name that movie. More pie. Please, Alexandria, more of this, please. You're just golden. Yeah, oh God. But Mitch McConnell says, hey, let's vote on it. And guess what the Democrats do? They freak out. It's like, wait a minute. You're a congressperson or a senator or a Democrat governor, and you're upset that Mitch is suggesting that any sort of House resolution be voted on. Wait a minute. Are you unfamiliar with how our system has always worked? That this is in fact how it works? Did you think that you were just going to get a new president and the president was going to use his pen and his phone and just shoehorn in some legislation? Is that what you were thinking? No, these things have to be voted on. That's how it always works. Were you hoping that in 2024, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, was going to be president and just use executive privilege to wipe out fossil fuel, the whole industry, and just get rid of it? Is that what you were thinking? The man suggests that everybody votes on it, right? This is the darling of the Democrat Party. Mitch just says, okay, great, let's vote on it. And they freak out. This is how lost these people are. Now, again, you can go crazy looking at the fact that these people are that crazy. That they don't even know. No. What Mitch McConnell said, that's actually how it works. That's how that works. And you're freaking out about it. So guess what? You've been exposed. You've been revealed. Welcome to the apocalypse. You have been exposed by the radiant sunlight, and it's cleaning you people out. Because now we see that either you don't know how our system works, or you hate it and you want a totalitarian regime to be in there. Only one of those two things can be the truth if you're freaking out to that level. Now, certainly it's not all Democrats, and not all Democrat leadership is bad. I can't think of a single good one, but certainly, if you've got 200 and whatever Congress people and, I don't know, 47, 48 senators, certainly not all of those people can be bad, right? I mean, there's that lady that just announced that she's going to run for president. I think she's from Hawaii, not the Hirono crazy bat guano lady, but the other one. I can't remember her name, but she's a Democrat. She seems like a nice lady. She seems like she's got some pretty reasonable things that she's, hopes for. And she, I have to imagine that that there are some Democrats that believe that they are Democrats because they look at certain things that the Democrat Party used to hold dear. Right? The Democrat Party used to be the party of the of the working man. Right? And that's why they have such close ties to unions, is because first it went to union man, then it went to the corrupt system of unions. And by the way, unions, look, the idea of not all unions are bad, right? The iron workers union, the electricians union, miners union, right? There's unions where it's like we have to have those unions because there has to be money, because people are going to get hurt and people are going to die, and there needs to be a large supply of money to cover the needs of those people when that happens outside of insurance companies, right? If you're an iron worker and you're a welder and you weld I-beams on, high-rise buildings, guess what? There's going to be dismemberment and there's going to be death in your future, either yourself or the men next to you. No insurance company is going to cover those people. So there has to be there has to be a union. There has to be a pool of money that forces the employees to pay into a fund, right? And that the money generated from the contracts, right? The person who's paying for the building to get built, he knows that he's going to have to pay more because the labor that he's hiring is going to, some of the money that they're getting paid isn't actually going to go to them. It's going to go into a fund, and that fund is going to go to a hedge fund manager, into low risk, things like money markets and certificates of deposit, like very low risk things, so that money can grow. And that's important. Certainly not teachers unions, and this is the problem with the Democrats, is that they've gotten so far away from the little guy that now the Republican has come back around. Right, here comes Donald Trump, a lifelong Democrat. He's always voted Democrat. He's always supported Democrats. But why? Well, because when he was a young man, the Democrats were the party of the working man. And that's who Donald Trump is. And that's who we as the Republican Party have become. Look, the Republican Party doesn't have the party, not Republicans, but the party itself doesn't have a very glowing record. In the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, the Republicans were called the party of the country club. Because the Republican Party cozied up to, like the wealthy class of people. And they kind of forgot the little guy. And that was their beef. Well, now we have a savage mixture of the two. Donald Trump is liberal in some cases and very conservative in others. He's a hell of a salesman, and this is why we need this guy, right? I don't know where I was going with any of that, but this is the Democrat Party that we have today. I think that's why I was referencing that lady from Hawaii, was that she's probably, thinking that she's the party of the little people still, even though clearly it isn't. The Democrats are now the people who cozy up to the banking industry. The Democrats are the people who constantly block fair pricing, for medicine from big pharma. You know what I mean? Like that's who they are now. It's like that old, that myth of the reversal of parties. It's like, man, it really has reversed. And the Democrats are now the people who, they bring a bunch of lobbyists down to Puerto Rico in the middle of winter and have a party. That's who they are now. They are literally the country club. They go to a country club in Puerto Rico in the middle of winter during a government shutdown. That is your new Democrat Party. And they're down there with more lobbyists by a factor of, I think it was 4-1. They're down there with a bunch of lobbyists. And this is who they are now. And they've gone so crazy that they've espoused this idea of hanging on closely to crazy ideas and crazy people. And when their craziness is called onto the floor, it's like, okay, you want to talk about a Green New Deal? Let's bring it to the floor. Oh no, Mitch McConnell, you're trying to ruin us. It's like, you're the one who said it, dum-dum. You're the one who said it. Let's vote on it. Let's see how many of you people actually believe this. We want to know. Because if you're Cory Booker, and well, he's a senator, but you know what I mean? Like if you're Elizabeth Warren is a senator. I'm trying to think of like Democrat Congress people. It's like, if you're with them, then guess what? We're never going to talk to you again. There's nothing, like if you vote yes on this, then you're crazy and stupid, and you don't belong here, and we need to divert some money to let the people in your district know that you are a crazy person who knows nothing about economics, and you think that the earth is going to explode in 12 years. These people are crazy. Anyways, short podcast today. Look, a coup d'etat was attempted in the United States. Don't go crazy over that. Look at the fact that it has been exposed for all of us to see. Right? The truth won. And the truth always wins. Even though it took a very long time and the rot had to fester in our government for a very long time, the fact is that the Band-Aid has been ripped off and the sunlight is now disinfecting the open, cavernous sore that is our political structure. The communist that was running the CIA, he's no longer running the CIA anymore. Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, all these people, Adam Schiff, these people, they're all exposed. We can see it clearly now. And guess what? Even though there's hardcore leftists that are shaking their fist at it, somewhere in their minds, they know it too. And they have to wrestle with that. So, thank you, Lord Jesus, for once again proving that you are Lord of all. Amen. That's the show for today. Hey, Arch Advocate, send some money. PayPal.me/ArchAdvocate. We would appreciate anything on this end. We need microphones, we need soundproofing, we need all kinds of stuff. And everything makes this show better. Hey, it's your show, man. Make it better. Clean up your room. I really need to work on my Jordan B. Peterson. But anyways, thanks to the Reddit person, Dallas, on the Unbearables. Appreciate you. Yes, I need microphones. A microphone. Other than that, folks, happy Friday to you. We're going to talk to you on Monday. And, have a safe weekend. I hope you enjoyed your Valentine's Day. We'll talk to you next week.